everyone, and welcome to this episode of Cannesversations. We are live from Las Vegas at CES, and we are here today with Zaid from M&C Saatchi, Global CEO. Welcome.
Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
How are you? How's your day going so far?
It's good. It's busy. I'm tired, but that's what happens here.
Yeah, my first CES, and I'm learning that very quickly. You just are tired. That's it.
You just
keep going.
Being tired, and you just keep doing it, and you can sleep another day.
Yeah, exactly. So, have you seen anything cool this week so far?
I've seen a lot of robots. I mean, we've all seen a lot of robots.
Really?
And sometimes I think that's going to be a really cool, useful robot for the future. And sometimes I think, why did someone make a robot that does that? Because none of us need it.
I'm waiting for the day where we have Rosie from the Jetsons.
Hey, I saw a robot that is very like that.
Really?
Yeah. I also saw a robot bartender, which I think is going to be pretty popular.
That is really popular. So a little off topic, but for a White Elephant gift this year, I got a little Barzy coaster, and it's basically like a coaster powered bartender. So it lights up with whatever liquor you're supposed to put it in so you can make the perfect drink. How cool is that?
Wonderful.
Right? Okay. Well, aside from cocktails and robots, shall we dive in?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So talking about robots is very, AI and futuristic and techie. So we're going to be talking a little bit about AI. Should brands be concerned about running their ads adjacent to AI created content?
Look, the way I think about the world of AI is very simple. We've been through changes before in marketing, right? The internet came along one day, right? I'm old enough to remember when it didn't exist, right? And we had to learn how to do things differently. But you have to say, the principles of how to do good brand marketing, they don't change.
Yeah.
What changes is you apply it to a new platform or a new technology. So when you think about AI, you got to think about it exactly how you used to think about things. Would you put your content in this place is a question of brand safety. And we have to do that when we put content on a billboard. We have to do that when we put content on the television, and we have to do that online when we put content next to AI. So you got to make sure it's a brand safe environment. Some of the content you're next to will be AI generated, and it'll be perfectly safe, and the platform will be managing it well. And then there'll be places where you just don't want to be. It's that simple.
Which is fair, and it's just like typical advertising, right? There's places where you just don't want to be.
It's just advertising. So don't be scared. Just use the same framework you think of normally. Is this a place where I want to be? Are my target audiences going to find this acceptable? Is this a context that enhances my brand? Or is this a context that's going to detract from my brand? So It's exactly the same questions. You just have to ask them.
And they're so simple.
Yeah, they're really easy.
And so do you think that brands are prepared for a world where consumers question everything?
Look, consumers are pretty smart, a lot smarter than people try to pretend, right? They know what is advertising. They know what is trustworthy. They know what is not. And even if you manage to fool them once, you won't fool them again. So consumers are continuing to be smart. They're going to work out AI and what is real and what to believe, which influencers are trustworthy, which are not. They're going to learn when content is really for them and when it's been created for someone else and it doesn't suit them. And they're going to make their own opinions. Yeah. So if you're a clever marketer, a clever brand owner, you're going to be thinking the same way you always did. I need to stick to the rules that treat my consumers with the smartness they've got.
And I think at the end of the day, we're all consumers. So aside from being marketers, right, or the people that are running the brands and doing these strategies or putting together these strategies, we're all consumers. So you could just put on your consumer thinking hat and does this resonate with you? How would you react to this? Would, and kind of let that guide you as well a little bit.
I say that all the time. I say, as a consumer, when you're faced with AI, I've got this thing I call the robot test, right? Because I think people find AI sounds really big and scary and complex. And a lot of us in our industry, we're not engineers, we're not scientists, right?
Right.
We're consumer experts, consumer understanding people. And we get really scared when we hear about AI. So just ask yourself this, would I entrust that job to a robot? And if you say, yes, I'd entrust it to a robot, well, it's probably okay to entrust it to AI. And if you say, no, I wouldn't let a robot make that decision for me, right? Then you shouldn't trust it to AI. Right?
I like that rule of thumb.
Look, hey, you want to marry someone? Would you let a robot make a decision of who you marry? I don't think you would. I don't think you should be using AI for choosing your future spouse.
I think you just came up with the next reality TV show.
I suspect someone is already working on it. I wish I owned the IP.
Yeah, right. No, for real though, that it really makes sense. And it's something that's so simplistic that we complicate ourselves because we think it has to be something different than something that is just yes or no.
Yeah. And I learned the rules of the marketing game by the fact that I started once long ago as a graduate at Procter & Gamble on their training scheme. And there's a reason why people look up to Procter & Gamble. And the reason is that they say marketing is about understanding your consumer and understanding the basics and applying those, using your brain to apply those to different situations because the world keeps changing.
Yeah.
Right? All you've got to do is apply it just the way you always did and say, is this right for the consumer? Is this right for my brand? How does this fit with what I'm trying to achieve as a business? And you ask yourself those same questions. Don't get scared by AI.
Yeah, I agree. Don't get scared by AI. And so, agents are really everywhere and they're interacting with digital experiences at scale, more so than we probably even realize at this point. How much do you think we do understand of this? And how much do you think we're just fooling ourselves with this behavior?
Yeah, look, it is more than most people realize. And I speak to people who say, oh, I can spot an AI ad. I know the difference. What they really mean is I can spot a bad AI ad.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm willing to bet there are ads that they didn't spot that are AI generated. I'm willing to bet there are experiences, consumer experiences that are agentic that they didn't realize. Of course, if it's a chat bot and it's obvious, you know it. But if it's done really well, you might not. So I think we have to be aware that that's what's happening, right? And again, not scared of it, just use the usual rules. Is this a trustworthy platform or a trustworthy information source? Is it treating the important values I have, like my privacy, for example, the right way? And if it is, that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. So do you know a little bit about retail media networks?
I know a little bit. What do you want to know?
So, it's very fragmented. I feel like they're popping up everywhere. If you have data, you have a commerce network, you're trying to utilize it to the best of your ability. And I think it's really amazing, interesting, and a little crazy with what is popping up and what these clients or companies, I should say, are doing to be a part of this. And there's industries and companies and brands that never were part of advertising or media ever. And now for the first time, they have this amazing offering.
I have the same perspective as I do for AI, right? About progress. We call it retail media for a reason, right? Because it used to be the thing that we had in retail. We used to go in a store and there used to be places where people could advertise to us.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It might be traditional advertising, or it might be through products on shelves, or it might be through shelf markers in the old days. And that was called retail media, right? Now we have this thing that we call e-retail, right? And the reason we do that is because it's the same. It's just in the digital world. We do a lot of our shopping online and the same thing is happening.
Yeah.
And some companies are really clever. They're really at the front of the game and they've worked out how to monetize that. And they've worked out how to buy or sell the space that is around it. But it's just the same as when you went in a store and there was a leaflet you could look at, there was a shelf marker, there was a big sign above a shelf. It's just the same, but online.
I remember being a kid walking through the supermarkets and the little coupon things.
Yeah.
And my mom would go down the aisle and I would just take all of them and run down the aisle and then you'd be beep, beep, and the little next coupon would come out.
And this is the modern version of coupons.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. So again, I say, don't be scared. Use what you know about how you do your marketing. You used to do it in a physical store. You're now trying to do exactly the same thing in a virtual store, right? And yeah, good for them. Some of the big retailers are right at the front of the game, and that's worth a fortune. It used to be worth a fortune in a store, and they haven't got that anymore. Now they got to do it online. And some of the people who've worked out the technology for understanding the customer, getting to the right place, having the message at the right time, hey, good for them. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So with all of that said, how do you think we could standardize retail media network measurement to end fragmentation and maximize ROI?
Oh, if I knew the answer to that, then I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere, because that is the billion-dollar question. As someone who talks to a lot of brand owners, they would really like standardization of that thing in terms of measurement. And we've spent, 10 years now with media measurement being an issue for brand owners.
Always.
It's improved, but it's not been solved. And I think the answer is, right now, You're going to have to go with the trusted networks, with the trusted platforms, because you know that what you're doing is going to reach people, and you know that the data they're going to give you on who it reached and how many people saw it and what effect it had is going to be correct. There's a lot of people out there who are less trustworthy, and some of them are going to earn trust over time, and they're going to be able to be transparent with their measurement. But if they're not able to do that, I would be cautious right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel, and this is a little, I guess, of a controversial opinion, I don't think we're ever going to solve for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's controversial at all.
I think that we keep changing the goalposts and we're never going to solve for it.
I think the speed of evolution, the way things are changing, just the speed of change in our industry and technology will never fully solve for it. And
Agreed.
that's why I don't pretend there's an easy solution. I say use the trusted sources, and the trusted sources will change over time. Some more new ones will become trusted, right? But if you're in any way concerned, and as a brand owner, I think you should be concerned, then don't go rogue, right? Play it safe so that your content is where it should be, and so that the data you're getting on the effectiveness of that or the reach of that is likely to be correct.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And you could only work with what you have, and the trust is a big deal. So understanding what the metrics are and knowing that they're truthful is the best that we could do at this point.
And don't forget that if you're a brand owner, the whole point of having a brand is to make it a trust mark,
right?
To make it a shortcut for that thing is going to be good and I trust it, right? So the worst thing you can do is put yourself in a position where you lose that trust, because that's the essence of why you have a brand.
Yeah, definitely. Do you play sports?
I do.
What sport?
Tennis mostly.
Oh, nice. I don't play anything.
Well, you should.
I work out. I do bar.
That's okay.
Yeah, I do bar. My daughter plays soccer. When I was a kid, I played softball, but yeah, I don't play sports. Do you watch live sports?
I watch quite a lot of live sports, yeah.
Do you do any sports betting?
I don't personally,
Okay.
no. Why? Why do you ask?
Well, you know, right now, live sports is really big in our industry. There's so much happening.
Yep.
And I was just wondering if you had an opinion on this next question.
Hey, look, we at M&C Saatchi have a sports and entertainment division.
Oh, perfect.
So although I'm not personally a sports betting person, we have a division that's particularly about sports IP, representing it,
Awesome.
sponsorship deals, activations, and so on. Work with some of the biggest names around the world, and on the Champions League sponsorship with Heineken, and we work with Adidas on a lot of their stuff. So
you know a little bit. You know a little bit.
I know a little bit, even though I'm not a sports bettor.
Okay. So how do you think we can mix non-disruptive ad formats in live sports to maximize revenue without annoying latency-sensitive fans?
Look, I think it's really hard.
It is really hard.
And I think the answer probably lies in some sort of second screen solution, because I do not, as a sports fan, want to have the sport I'm watching interrupted with that. But most sports fans, the data says, are second screening while they're watching sports because they're looking at the stats on their team or they're chatting with their friends. So I think there's a solution in there.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you think like the TVs with like the picture-in-picture are going to come back?
They are already coming back. Whether they'll stay and people will use them, I'm not so sure.
Okay. So you ready for some rapid fire?
Yes, very happy.
Awesome. So authentic in-game experience or personalized live sports betting?
Authentic in-game experience.
Okay. Voice agents or vehicle operating systems?
Voice agents.
For streaming ads, non-disruptive overlays or shoppable pause ads?
Shoppable pause ads.
Okay. And now we're going to go for some fun questions. What would be your one prediction for this year?
My prediction will be that a lot of the robots that we've seen today start becoming mass-produced and normal things in people's homes.
Okay. I hope I get my Rosie.
Yeah. I hope you do too.
What event do you find most valuable and why?
Right here in CES?
Just in general, industry events.
I love Cannes, and I do think it's valuable because it is the one time of the year that the whole industry globally gets together.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it is still focused on creativity,
Yeah.
although the world is about technology nowadays, our industry is not about technology. Our industry uses technology, right? No one comes to someone in our industry because they want technology. They come because they want creativity and ideas and consumer connection, and they expect us to be able to use it. And I think it's really important that Cannes still focuses on that creativity.
Yeah, I like that. That's really nice. And what is your Vegas guilty pleasure?
My Vegas guilty pleasure is magic shows.
Oh.
I know it's not cool to say it, but ever since I was a kid, I absolutely adore magic shows. So,
have you seen any good ones this trip?
Well, I know this is the cheesiest of all, but David Copperfield is still fantastic. I mean, he is the best. It's mind-blowing.
Really? I love magic
People are
too.
going to laugh at me.
Do you know any tricks?
No, I don't.
Okay. I was going to say, let's get a deck of cards. Well, this was really fun. One last thing. Are you ready to make some money?
Yes, absolutely.
Ready to roll the dice?
I'm always ready to make some money.
Awesome. Well,
for responsibility reasons, I might have to give it to my company, but let's still go with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you, Zephyr, for being our Roll the Dice sponsor. And you're ready to roll the dice? It's right there.
You want me to roll on the floor?
Yes, please.
Here we go. $10 measly. I'm pretty disappointed with that.
Well, thank you for being a good sport, and I hope you get to keep your 10 measly dollars. Thank you so much for coming.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Until next time, bye.